to have a humble sharing pertaining to this Article 371A of the Constitution of India, especially relating to Clause 4. And I have prepared a small write-up. Let me read out. I am constrained to forward my considered individual views and understanding of the subject in the public domain on observation of the fact that Naga Sabtudi vigorously talk and think about the safeguard of Article 371A, which was inserted in the Part 21 of the Constitution of India by Constitutional Amendment 1962. Yet, as of today, in the light of my understanding as an active participant in the political affairs of the state, I am without any measure of hesitation and unequivocal term say that the very constitutional provisions of Article 371A, more particularly Clause 4, has become ispo-facto otiose and therefore strictly redundant. We are all aware that the history of the Naga struggle for political emancipation, we find that to do or die for a suffering independent Naga homeland from the chains of the land rule and control was seriously started in early 50s when the Naga took voluntary plebiscite on May 16, 1951 under the spearhead of Naga National Council. During those decisive and turbulent times, the understanding of the Nagas was, I quote, Nagas are not Indians, and Nagaland is not Indian territory. The Nagas are not demanding independence from India, and the Nagas are not trying to secede from India. The case of Nagaland is a case of aggression. It is war. Is it Pezu? And I quote another one. A state of emergency equivalent to the martial law in practice existed in Nagaland since early 50s, and all the Naga areas were turned into a war zone. Horrible events were taking place, but very few were known to the outside world. Nagas in the crossroads, that and out, unquote. And I quote another. I can well remember how dark were those days when no foreigners were allowed to witness the situations in the early part of 1950s, while the whole world was busy in their own affairs. Nagaland was converted into a prison cell, reference to Nagaland church and politics, Reverend Vikino, unquote. History vividly revealed that for suffering independent Naga homeland, our fathers have willingly given their life for bare unabated cycle of violence, bloodshed endures. It is understood that in the given determining situations and times, Naga People's Convention was formed in 1957 with an idea to explore means of possible for restoration of peace and harmony in the beleaguered Nagaland. However, the initiative to meet the MPC was outrightly rejected by the NNC federal government and therefore tilted the draft memorandum of 16-point agreement and subsequent Article 371A of the Constitution is never accepted as a final political solution. This aspiration is still today the most formidable obstacle and the hindrance in the process of honorable and acceptable solution to Naga political issue. However, the delegates of the MPC went ahead with a preconceived political agenda and signed the 16-point agreement with the government of India without the popular mandate of the Naga people. However, the agreement being signed before the Prime Minister of India without the knowledge and affirmation of the Naga people, Article 371A was inserted in the Constitution of India by virtue of a 16-point agreement of the MPC. It is estimated that Article 371A was by and large propagated by the signatories of the final political emancipations of the Naga people, but nonetheless, it is observed that there are self-contradicting flaws and undefined paradox in the working and implementation of 371A. Bare reading of Article 371A squarely reveals that no definition or meaning is given with regard to ownership and transfer of land and its resources, which is given in Clause 4. This very inherent flaw creates difficulties and confusions in the realm of interpretation. Further, observation is that there is no specific legislative power accorded to the Nagaland Legislative Assembly to legislate with respect to the special provisions of Article 371A, Clause 4. This unexplained ambiguity and flaw give rise to a never-ending confusion. By all indication, it is observed that 371A does not per se provide blanket protection and safeguard to its provisions. Article 371A is rather a protective provision, but not an enabling provision of law in the Constitution. It is a satanic inherent flaw that Nagaland Legislative Assembly was not accorded the power to make laws, its own laws. And the enumerated clauses of Article 371A, it is if the Nagaland Legislative Assembly could not legislate on the special clause of 371A, then the Nagaland state, which was created through a written bilateral political agreement, could only legislate in the enumerated list 3 in the 7th schedule, known as the state list, in consonance with the provision of Article 245. Read with articles of 246, 47, 48 of the Constitution of India. The present arrangement has already met Nagaland state and the same footing with other states of the Indian Union who were otherwise created under the State Reorganization Commission in accordance with Article 3 of the Constitution of India. The process for creation of present Nagaland state was preceded by the merger of Naga Hills district in Assam into Some Frontiers Division, carved out of NIFA in 1957 to form Naga Hills Tungsan area, NHDA. In 1960, the then Prime Minister John Nehru agreed to the proposals for the 16-point agreement that formed the basis for creation of Nagaland state, which was later signed with the Naga People Convention on July 26, 1960. It was reported that it is only my individual information. Idea of a convening Naga People Convention in 1956 was given by the IB, the government of India, and was patronized by them so as to make the convention a reality. It is also known that first draft of the 16-point agreement was drafted by the IB themselves. It is a human known record that obtaining the opinion of the then legal luminaries like H.M. Sarvai, P.S. Nariman, and the R.C. Sarkar and then the Hidayatullah in the 1980s, all of whom concurred that the land and its resources used in Article 371A Clause 4 include mine and minerals. Accordingly, the Nagaland Legislative Assembly passed a resolution in July 26, 2010 to the effect that the laws made by the Parliament on petroleum and natural gas would be inapplicable in the state of Nagaland with respective effect, and subsequently invited expression of interest from the companies to explore and exploit the 11 oil and gas fields and identified across 11 districts in the state. However, this legislative initiative by the Government of Nagaland was extinguished by the Government of India Ministry of Home Affairs by its office memorandum 23/5/2023, wherein it was stated that, I quote, "The Union Ministry is of the considered view that Article 371A does not confer legislative power to the Legislative Assembly of Nagaland on regulation and development of mineral oil. Therefore, the power to make laws in respect of subject covered under the List 1 of the 7th Schedule of the Constitution, including Entry 53 of List 1, rests with the Parliament. Therefore, the resolution passed by the Nagaland Legislative Assembly in July 2010 is unconstitutional and invalid. It is certain that the above unilateral office memorandum in the form of order that the Nagaland Legislative Assembly has bypassed Entry 53 of List 1 of the 7th Schedule and the Mines and Mineral Regulation and Development Act of 1957 is, to my understanding, of entirely of the matter is probably erroneous, incurable, not tenable, and manifestly arbitrary. It is nowhere seen in the record that the Mines and Minerals Regulation and Development Act 1957 has been approved by the Nagaland Legislative Assembly as an applicable statutory law in the state from the date of statehood till date. It is therefore in the light of the above legislative process initiated by the state of Nagaland and concurrently nullifying executive order so pronounced by the Home Union of India, the so-called sacrosanct provisions of Article 371A were particularly Clause 4, which emphasized ownership and transfer of land and its resources, has from the threshold of hitherto has failed and has tormented down to not its boundary yet. That is the contention I have in my mind.
Office memorandum from the Government of India that the Government of India had mentioned entry 53 of List 1. I think we see this comes under the Union list. So, although you have expressed your view, what is the state government going to do next?
Beg your pardon?
What are you going to do next? What will the next move of the state government be?
Well, there is quite a pertinent question. This is only my individual view, to be precise. And what our honorable members of the House, and especially the leader of the House, the Chief Minister, will be thinking about it, I do not know. But to the extent possible, this Nagaland Legislative Assembly has explored all means to overcome this obstacle, because especially 7th Schedule of the Constitution and Geology and Mining Act, Regulation 1957, we try to overcome it. by making legislative resolution and putting up to the governor. And governor has reserved its asset, and therefore he has passed it to the President of India, and then reply was this one. And it was Peter Moily himself was a eminent lawyer at that point of time, and this is the reply we got. And therefore he literally went by the constitutional spirit and saying that the state legislature doesn't have the mandatory legislative power to make laws under union list, especially in Chapter 53. So I do not know what would be the wisdom of the Chief Minister, leader of the House, but it needs review and revisit the 371 Act. That's what I have in my mind.
Are you going to come up with an official interpretation of the Article 371A? Because many times there has been a tendency of, misinterpreting this article as per to our convenient interests.
I do agree. Yeah, many people used to interpret this 371A, especially relating to this clause 4. But the Constitution of India is very clear, especially 7th schedule and then the 1957 Gerrymandering Act, where state doesn't have any mandatory authority to legislate over this subject. And therefore, unless union government agree to revisit the 371A in its interpretation, I find it difficult to go ahead because Nagaland as a unit and the Federation, Union of India, we are subjected to Constitution of India in its obedience. And then unless we follow due process of law, we will be acting contrary to the spirit of law.
So in that case, who will enforce the central government to revisit this act?
No, I am saying that Nagaland Legislative Assembly should be the proper authority. Of course, even the BIL can also move the issue by filing in the Supreme Court, because Supreme Court is the guardian of Constitution, and they have the mandate to interpret the constitutional law. Anyway, the Nagaland Legislative Assembly should be the proper party because this is a legislative matter, and therefore Nagaland Legislative Assembly will be the most proper way of revisiting and then reapproaching the government of India for review. Yet, you see, let me go a little away from there. The Naga political issue in its official level talks are still continuing for the last 26 years. I do not know whether the participants in the talk are also making a reference to Article 371A or any other altogether different one. I do not know. But 371A, as of till today, it is very important for the Naga people. It is very important for the Naga people. And therefore, I do not know for sure, I do not know what are the relevant agenda the Naga representatives are putting up to the government of India for consideration. I do not know, but I feel that it is also imperative on their part to mention and take a clear stand on the 371 Act.